time I had seen a picture of you, yes, you always had a chain. And what I also noticed is that you were a big person when it came to the Red Dragon clothing line.
Yeah, like so I met them during the Fort Minor video shoot for Remember the Name. They were there, and DC clothing too, but they were like, yo, we'll throw you some gear or whatever, and I was like, all right. So I kept riding with them because Ryu means dragon in Japanese. It kind of made sense, you know. I
That,
still to this day I got like 60 Red Dragon hats in a closet that I never even worn yet.
oh man, I mean, I'm actually a big hat collector myself. I got over like 120 at least, and I always buy them in twos, one that I could wear, and then one that I just keep in the stash.
Oh, dude, yeah, we're about the same. Like you got to see just my Dodger hat collection alone is I I got, let's see, I got like 7 in a row, brand new Dodger hats just to have on deck. Just the championship 2024 ones. That's it.
Oh man.
And then I got the ones that aren't the champion ones.
Oh man, yeah, because when I was a kid, like I always wore hats. I mean, I don't wear them often all the time, but sometimes I'll put them on. And then I got so overly obsessed with collecting them because I feel like when you're an adult and you start thinking about like back in the day and like the things you couldn't have because you really weren't financially able to do that, or you didn't have a job or whatever, you just start collecting it, and it fuels that memory and keeps it alive. But also the other thing was I learned how to do DST files. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
What is that?
So DST is basically when you see the logo on any of like your Dodger hats or LA hats, it's the stitching. So what I do is I take and create my own logos, and I'll digitize it, and then I'll actually bring it to an embroidery company, because the way they get you is they charge you the 50 or 65 to digitize it when it shouldn't be that much money. So if I cut out that middleman, all I have to do is pay for the bulk and just get it stitched.
No, that's dope. See, that's good stuff.
Also, the other thing was like, my brother Sal, he was also a fan of you, Styles of Beyond, and he told me when I was starting off, he's like, you need to be your own machine, because you can't rely on other people when you're trying to create your art. And sometimes when you're in that moment and you don't capture it, it becomes stale after a while, and you kind of lose that momentum and feeling that you had when you first heard everything.
That's true. That's really true. Like that's some really good advice. I wish I would have took that advice when I was younger. Because everybody always says, "Ah, you should have been more famous, or you could have been this." And they're right. But I didn't do anything myself. I didn't make my beats. I didn't record myself. I didn't do my own artwork. I didn't do anything. All I did was rap, and I thought everybody else was going to do everything else for me. And that's not the way to go.
That's how I felt. And unfortunately he passed away in 2011, but during my whole career, he was, like I said, he was always pushing me. Like, I was, unfortunately, from 14 years old till about 23, 24, I was in active addiction. I was doing pretty much everything under the sun, and he was just getting so frustrated because he saw my talent, and he was like, yo, like, he's like, you're gonna learn Photoshop this month. And I was like, no, I'm not. And he's like, yeah, you are. So I learned Photoshop, was able to do my own artwork. Then I started to work with video programming and trying to do my own music videos. Then along that line, he was like, okay, now you got to get involved with merch. So he was pretty much my glue and pushed me to do all these things. Now it's like I don't have to rely on anybody to do anything. I could just do it at the comfort of my leisure, and whatever time I get it done is whenever I get it done.
That's dope, man. That's really dope.
I
Like I
mean,
said, I wish I would have been like that myself.
and yo, if you ever need, anything digitized or something that you want, I got you on the arm for it.
I appreciate it.
I'm gonna go to this next question. How did you first get connected with the DemiGodz? Like, and who invited you into the group?
Um, I say I think Cheap Shot, my DJ, was talking to Apathy, and it was just like anything else. Like we came out before them, so they like Apathy was like a Styles Beyond fan before we were in the Demigods. And so, we kind of just connected over the phone. Cheap Shot put him on the phone one day. We were at the studio, and then we ended up doing a track together. And I don't know. Eventually, they were like, why don't you just be in the Demigods? I was like, yeah, all right, cool. It wasn't like a Masonic ceremony or anything when they put me in there.
gem on 'em. Drop a gem on 'em.